everyone. It's Marissa Lachlan from Joanne's Place here, and you're listening to the Wellness on Purpose podcast. There is no linear path along one's wellness journey, and it is very easy to get caught up in the latest health trends found on social media, which tend to redirect our wellness journeys. Things like, what's the difference between clean and dirty eating? How should I reduce my stress? How do I know if I'm regular? How much sleep should I be getting? What even is cortisol? And do I need to be taking a multivitamin? There is so much information being released in the wellness industry on and offline, and it can be very challenging to not jump on every bandwagon we read about. Here at the Wellness on Purpose podcast, our intention is to connect with experts in our community to inspire and educate you to take the next impactful and realistic step in your journey to live wellness on purpose now and for future generations. Today on the Wellness on Purpose podcast, we have the pleasure of speaking with Lisa Mckay, who is the owner and operator of Evolv Your Body. Lisa will be sharing some insight into her wellness journey of fitness competitions, nutritional trends, culinary practices, and how she has found balance in all areas of her lifestyle while creating and delivering whole, nutrient-dense, and gluten-free meals to our community every single week. Lisa is a lover of strong coffee. She loves working out, spending time with her beautiful daughter, and she is currently completing her social work degree at Trent University. She believes that the key to wellness is understanding what drives us in life and following that passion to completion. And she also would love you guys to understand that you do not have to be 100% perfect 100% of the time. Continue to listen here to find out exactly what Lisa means by that. Hi, Lisa. Welcome to the Wellness on Purpose podcast. Thank you for being here today with us.
Thanks.
So we're going to learn a little bit about yourself, where your wellness journey started. Tell us who you are, all the goods.
Okay. So you want to know where it started?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that I briefly got into this right before we started here, but I was saying that it started when I was one. Yeah. Which is kind of crazy because being a 1-year-old, you wouldn't really be aware of what was going on, but I had pretty smart parents, and they figured that something wasn't right with, like my body mechanics and that sort of thing. And so this would have been 1975. And the doctor at the time said, I think that your daughter is celiac. And so that's kind of like where my health and wellness journey started.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing because I feel like myself being celiac as well, it was like, 10 years ago when I found out I was celiac. Mm-hmm. But even then they were like, I don't even know what that means. Yeah. So for that to even be able to be a diagnosis at age 1 for you is amazing.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I think. And then and what you were saying is people don't understand what is it. I feel like now, I don't know, like gluten-free has this sort of trendy tag attached to it, right?
Yeah.
But so people are a little bit more aware. But when I was growing up, it was in the days where, gluten-free bread was in Toronto.
Yeah.
Right? And I grew up in Peterborough. So I have this funny memory of my mom sending me to the corner store to get rice flour. And I asked the person at the desk, and it was a convenience store, and they looked at me like, who are you?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about, right? And plus I was a kid too.
Yeah.
So I think that because I grew up having celiac, I was very aware of what was okay to go on my body and what wasn't, right? Mm-hmm. So I just kind of had this knowing. But, it wasn't an easy ride because so many people were unaware of what this is, what this meant, what is gluten-free, what is gluten, right?
Yep.
So my mom would send me with pancakes for Pancake Tuesday at school, and teachers would be like, what? Yeah, I know. I'm the only kid in school that's brought their own pancakes. And, the journey has not ended, right? I am that person that sometimes has to bring my own meals to places.
Yeah.
But, so people are a little bit more aware of it now, though.
And is gluten your only allergy or sensitivity?
No.
Oh.
Unfortunately not.
What else?
Okay, so when I was about... let's not talk about ages. Let's just talk about years. About 10 years ago, I would take a whey protein powder right in the morning and do my morning shake. And every day I was like, what is wrong with me? By about noon, 1 o'clock, and I just felt horrible, you know, like bloating and just uncomfortable, right? Felt like my clothes didn't fit right, and every day, but I didn't feel sick. And then I thought, okay, I don't know, maybe it's the dairy, you know, maybe it's the milk protein. Honestly, to this day, I don't really know what it is in dairy that bothers me.
Yeah.
Dairy's a big thing. And then I've been told that, you know, celiac and intolerance to dairy sometimes can go hand in hand.
Yeah.
But for me, I didn't notice the symptoms until later in life. Yeah.
And do you completely avoid all dairy, or do you have like goat's dairy or sheep dairy?
I can do goat.
Yeah.
I can do goat, I can do sheep. So, you know, like the boutique cheese places are my best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll go in there and I'll treat myself,
Yep.
and I have that. But yeah, so I just stay away from cow's milk.
Yeah.
Yes.
And would you say so with having those sensitivities and not knowing, like, growing up, that's kind of what led you to want to be a chef, to be able to cater to those special dietary needs, or?
No, it was kind of an evolution. So, okay, so I am like a creative sort of artsy person. It runs in my family. And so I thought, okay, well, I don't want to go to school for art because I thought I'm going to be broke. So, so I actually went to school for marketing.
Wow.
In Toronto with George Brown, I know. And this was, you know, forever ago. And I was sitting there and I watched these people walk by with their little toolkits and their chef jackets. And I'm like, who are these people? That looks amazing, right? And I was like, okay, I went and talked to the counselor, and they kind of talked me out of it, to be honest. So I ended up coming back to Peterborough.
Yeah.
And then I went to Fleming College, and I became a chef, I guess. And so that was me applying the creative part of who I am to something that I felt would make me money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that I've always been a business person, right?
Yeah.
So even before I understood that, and before I understood like what entrepreneur means, I guess I was kind of piecing that together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like I could probably talk forever about this, but I'm going to like really condense it. Yeah. So then I had a catering business in Peterborough.
Yeah.
I had a few different places, and I knew, so I'm celiac, right? But I'm still servicing like, you know, general people that eat whatever, but I just felt like I personally wasn't satisfied. I felt like I wasn't providing what I should be providing for people. I feel that in the food business there can be a slippery slope to giving, like, you know, what's my cheapest price on white bread, say, right? What's my cheapest price on whatever sort of like mass-produced milk product or something like that. And I just felt like I wasn't being genuine. Yeah. And so after that business was done, I kind of collected my thoughts, and then I went and I worked as a culinary instructor for a little while, but I found that I couldn't find anything to eat while I was traveling. So, you know, I was having to stop in at some sort of fast food joint and get a really bad salad with chicken that's like pumped with soy product and who knows what, right? And so I thought there has to be other people like me that really need this. And so that's how I started the business that I'm in now. So basically I'm just taking the food business and being really selfish about it.
Yeah,
right?
No, yeah, for sure. But like so many people need that, like, right? We need that additional support. It's amazing how many people.
Turns out a lot of people need it.
Yeah, turns out a lot of people don't even know what their health conditions are until they start to do something. They're like, wow, I feel amazing.
Yes.
And it's so good. So with your catering business now, what are the specialty areas of food that you focus on? Okay, so what I like to say is it's gluten-free and dairy-free. That is what I say. And that's the truth. But on my website, I say it's paleo and plant-based. So there's like two different parts. And I mean, I think that there's probably been a kabillion conversations about paleo, right? Yeah. So we probably don't have to dig all that stuff up. Yeah. But for me, it's really just about bringing it to the essentials. And it's, when I talk to people about the food that we make, it's made with care and it's made with real ingredients and we put it together. But for allergy reasons, I say, you know, it's paleo. So that's an indicator for the most part that it's gluten-free and dairy-free. And same with the plant-based. Because I get people that will order, you know, they're not necessarily a vegetarian or say vegan or whatever, but they just will pick from the array.
because it's healthy food.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. And then with your clients that you serve now, do you find that they specify with you that they are following a specific paleo diet or keto diet or vegan diet, or it's just that they're looking for healthier options for convenient wise, or both?
It's like all across the board.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have people that will become informed through different social media platforms or just looking on the internet on how to eat better, right? Because a lot of people now, I mean, for the most part, most people are working full time on some level, and a lot of people have families. So it really kind of restricts the time that they have to eat well. So they look to see, okay, well, I don't want a frozen dinner from the supermarket because it's not satisfying and it's really high in sodium or whatever, right? So some people will come to me and say, I've heard about this keto diet. So we also do, some of our paleo items just happen to be keto friendly.
Yeah.
So they'll ask me about that for sure, or paleo, or but a lot of people just don't have the time to cook. But they still want to eat well. I honestly think that that's probably the majority.
Yeah.
And they struggle because, you know, a lot of people go through like starvation all day long, and then at 6 or 8 o'clock they go through the drive-through, right?
Yeah.
And eat 2 huge Whoppers or Big Mac, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Some sort of fast food, and then they don't feel well afterwards.
Yeah.
So that's primarily the people that come to me.
And I find that people just get so overwhelmed with meal planning and meal prepping on their own that it's like it either takes them like their entire weekend to do, or they just give up and they're like, okay, I'm done. All this food is going to go to waste because I'm just tired of doing the meal prep. So having it done for you is like saving you money, saving you time, saving your sanity.
Yeah.
And you deliver it right to their door.
Yeah. And some people just don't like cooking.
Yeah.
Right? Like some people like to eat, but they really dislike cooking.
And honestly, you cannot eat healthy if you don't like to, like if you're not willing to cook or get someone else to cook for you, it's impossible to buy pre-made healthy food really anywhere.
And on the flip side too, like I talked a lot about families, but there's also a lot of people that are single.
Yeah.
And you know, like I find myself, if I don't have other people to cook for, then sometimes I'm like, you know, I'll just have a shake or whatever, right? So it's easy to kind of like fall back on that. So, yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. So your niche essentially is meal prepping for our community. Do you find that there's like any type of myth that people will approach you in the specific guidelines that you follow, like keto or paleo or vegetarian? Do you find anything that you get asked a lot about in that field?
You know what? I don't know if I don't know if there's a myth, I guess. Actually, yes, there is. Okay, so this is my answer to that. People think that they have to be 100% on board 100% of the time or they will fail.
Yeah.
And that is so not true.
No, not at all, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I know that like we've done other events together before, and you talk about that. It's like, yes, paleo or keto, like a vegan, it's a lifestyle way that you can eat majority. But you've even mentioned before, like sometimes you'll have rice pasta or like things like that because that's just living life, right?
Yes.
It could be that you want some carbs or something, right? Yeah. So
I can't agree with you more, and I just feel like the biggest thing that I wish people would understand is it is okay to be alive and enjoy things. And you can do that while also being healthy, right? So people will, like, it's like there's this being frantic. It's a frantic frenzy to whatever it is. Reduce my sodium, shed 40 pounds in 2 months, or like something just crazy, right? And then people will set themselves up for this huge bar that's unattainable because they haven't given themselves the proper tools. And one of those tools is just appreciating where you are at the time and rewarding yourself too. That said, it doesn't mean, we all know that it doesn't mean I'm going to have 2 chocolate bars every day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there's consistency that goes along with it. So I'm telling you already know this. I know.
No.
But you're like, if there's consistency, then you can also have enjoyment too.
Yeah.
So that's the long-term payoff. People are looking for like the short-term payoff, and that's never going to work.
No.
And that's why people are always on this cycle and they never get off of it. Yeah.
And do you find like with clients, some people will get on that cycle where they'll be like, okay, I'll, order food for a month, and then I'll be like, how come I haven't lost weight? And then they stop, and then they come back. Do you ever see that with some of your clients?
Yeah, no, I don't know. People don't really, people don't necessarily share those notes with me.
Okay.
But I think that I can see it.
Yeah.
Right? And, I mean, I don't know. I think that I can see it, and also just in the community and people around me through conversation, I can see that. And that's another, like, if you just get past, it's going to take you, I'm going to say like 2.5 months. Like, people always say 6 weeks, and you need this a little bit longer. I'm going to say even 3 months because you have to, first of all, get rid of wanting all this stuff and get used to being into some sort of a routine, right? And just knowing that you're going to eat this way, and then that's great. And I'm just talking about eating. I'm not even talking about being active.
Yeah.
You can regulate your whole body and feel great almost always through what you intake, right? Yeah. That's one part of it. I understand that, but that is a big part of it.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it's a huge part.
I would agree with you. A lot of people kind of fall off before they see anything good happen. This good stuff's happening, but it's just not visible yet. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think that society is just in like such a fast driven, I want this now, because there's so many things that are accessible now, but when it actually comes to that long-term result, it's you have to wait for it. Like, you have to work towards it, and consistency and being dedicated is key, because I said before, like, you can be motivated to do anything. People can motivate you or inspire you, but you yourself have to be dedicated to it, to continuously do it, to see the results.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. Along your wellness journey, so kind of like, aside from your business standpoint, like, what are some other things along your wellness journey that's really helped you get to where you are in your health today?
Okay. I'm gonna say there's been a lot of learning along the way. Yeah. So, besides food, I guess, there's always been like an active component to my lifestyle. So, probably halfway through my life, I decided to join the gym. I like how I'm doing this. It's so great. And but everybody knows how old I am, because I said in 1975 I was 1. So anyways, I started the gym halfway through my life. And I went through a lot of waves of being kind of like wanting it now, struggling, not knowing how to kind of wave through what this means, like, what does fitness mean? And also being influenced by, wasn't social media at the time, but it was a lot of magazine covers and things like that. Yeah. So I had to learn for myself how to kind of look inward and understand where I needed to be. So that was not an overnight thing. It was probably, I'm going to say 10 years probably. After I had Lily, I decided to get really serious about fitness, and I learned a lot of rights and a lot of wrongs. And I learned what it was to be, the biggest thing for me to understand how to be lifelong, like lifelong longevity, was to get past wanting to drop the weight to look a certain way, and start to understand what it was like to achieve things. I'm a physical, I like to be active, right? Yep. So how do I achieve things through activity that make me feel good will naturally make me look good, feel good, all inside and outside. Yeah. So,
and long term.
And long term. Yeah. So when I started this fitness journey, it was all short term goals, right? And I don't regret doing them, because they helped me understand who I am. Yeah. Right? But there was a lot of like stumbles and falls along the way. And just kind of going in different sort of avenues of what fitness is and what food is too. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I find when you can get into that mentality of those short-term goals, some of the time that nutrition is so complex that way too, right? There's so much detail going into, can't have this, like, it's got to be this amount, that, like, right, which can become very overwhelming too.
You nailed it. Yeah. You nailed it. It is that can't have this, can't have that, right? Yeah. And then we're like negative, right? And I still find myself falling into that sometimes, but it's about okay, I'm going to have this, I'm going to have this, it's such an easy thing to say, oh, I get to have this. Mm-hmm. Oh, I get to work out today, right? And you're like, oh God, I don't want to do that, right? Sometimes you just got to kick your butt out of bed and do it, right?
Yeah.
But it is about switching it to, I get to do this, I get to have this, and this is a really amazing journey that I'm on. And it's a lifelong journey, and I'm happy that I get to have these things instead of I can only have this, I can only have that. Yeah. You totally nailed it.
And how long on your fitness journey did it take you to realize that you could live life that way and be athletic and be healthy and have longevity and not be in that kind of cookie cutter stage?
So, I think, if I'm being very honest with you, it was probably about... Realistically, I bet you it was probably about 2 years ago. However, I got the call to open up my eyes about 4 years ago.
Okay.
When I decided I thought, I'm just going to enter another fitness competition because, hey, it's a goal and that's going to be great. And not too long into that, I ended up injuring myself. And I had to take a step back and go, I don't think this is really for me. Mm-hmm. And I had to ask, what need was I satisfying, right? Because after that's done, then what?
Yeah.
Well, why am I not good enough the way I am right now, working to the best of my abilities? Mm-hmm. Why isn't that enough? Mm-hmm. And so after that, I seriously thought about, where I wanted my fitness to go, and where my nutrition has always been pretty decent.
Yep.
But the way I looked at it hasn't always been decent. It's probably been slightly dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Because I think that a lot of people that are active and, do food and nutrition, you have higher chances of looking at it with slight dysfunction, right? Yeah. Because you can become absorbed by it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that, I know Rebecca and I and a couple other people at Joanne's Place have talked about it. Education is powerful, but can also be very detrimental to your mental health if you're working in the health and fitness industry, because you know so much. Yes. And it can sometimes just be not good for you if you know so much, because it's like, you can do this, you can't do that, you can do this is good for you, this is bad for you, right?
Yeah.
So it's not hard to get into that orthorexia stage of being obsessive of your nutrition or fitness in that sense too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So with your injury, was this your bicep injury?
You betcha.
Yes. I remember you coming in. I was like, Lisa. So how long did it take you to recover from that?
Oh, I was amazing. I don't know. I was okay. So that happened probably about 3 months. I was back at the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was back at the gym with my sling on.
Yeah.
All right.
Was that your breaking point where you're
doing all the things that I can be doing, and doing legs and walking around and just being in the environment, because again, it's just my thing.
Yeah.
Probably 3 months before I was able to feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not long.
Not long. Yeah. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then during that injury, was there anything that you felt was really helpful for your recovery? Even just mindset wise, or was it just kind of day in and day out, you're like, I just got to keep going?
Probably a little bit of, I got to keep going.
Yeah.
And I was sad too.
Yeah.
Because, having even if it's a short term, disability to your body, it's when you're used to having a certain ability and you have it taken away, it's kind of like, I'm sad about this, right? And it kind of opens your eyes to lots of people deal with lots of different things all the time, right? And things can be given to you and taken away.
Yeah.
So if I don't have the use of my arm, that was a small thing, but I didn't have it for a while. Well, what am I going to do? I can't get upset because can't perform a certain way, or I can't look a certain way, or I can't feel a certain way. It still has to come from the inside, right? So, I was sad about it, but at the end of the day, things are always temporary.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you just work through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you say are your biggest inspirations in the health and industry field? Could be anyone. It could be family. It could be anyone in the industry.
Yeah. I don't know. This is a hard one to answer.
Is there anyone on Instagram that you love watching?
Okay, so... but I can't remember her name. And Actually, okay, I'm going to say 2 people.
Okay.
All right. First, from in the 80s. Her name, and okay, so this, again, okay, it's in the 80s, but her name's Monica Brandt.
Okay.
And she was this, like, muscle and fitness model. I have another one, too. But, okay, now they're all coming.
Yeah.
And she was, like, my idol. Now, again, I'm going to say I didn't know a whole lot. This was, in that time, this was what my vision of fitness was at the time, because it's always evolving, right?
Yeah.
And now I'd have to say it's Margot Alvarez, and she was a CrossFit competitor, and she also owns a winery in Vegas.
Okay.
So, winery, check. Vegas, check. Strong woman, check. So I think she's fantastic.
That's awesome.
And then last one, when I was a kid, it was Wonder Woman, and she's fictional, but like she was pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's so awesome.
Yeah.
And you've done CrossFit before too in your journey. So now, like, where would you say, like, so you've done kind of the bodybuilding bikini.
Yeah.
Then you were like gym as much as possible, and then CrossFit.
Yeah.
And now you're kind of a balance between strength training. Is that where you're at right now?
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite out of all of them?
Oh my. I have favorites for different reasons.
Okay.
So the bodybuilding sort of whatever, that really honed in on what my diet was, I guess.
Yep.
But also just kind of like pushing the limits of what my body could do. Mm-hmm. So that's cool.
Yeah.
CrossFit was, there's a lot of different opinions about CrossFit, but what I will say is I love the community of CrossFit, and I really love, I feel like when we're doing a WOD, you know, the workout of the day, it's kind of like you're in it together. I love that sort of like group workout dynamic.
Yep.
That's thrilling to me. Mm-hmm. So I've had some of the best workouts of my life doing CrossFit.
Yeah.
That being said, it also kind of like crosses a threshold to pain for me sometimes, because I tend to not know how to quit.
Yes. Yeah.
So that I had to kind of work on a little bit.
Yeah.
And then now I go to hybrid.
Yeah.
And this is probably, I'm going to say, the most intelligent training for me.
Yeah.
For my body. And then going back to that whole not short-term but long-term goals.
Yeah.
And as I continue to mature and evolve, and my body does as well, I know that it's very important to take care of it.
Yeah. Although nutrition was like more in a box kind of,
yes.
Would you say over those years, was it still that you were following more of like a paleo style diet, or did that fluctuate a lot for you?
I'm going to say it's primarily paleo, only because of my dietary restrictions, like because of my allergies, right? Yeah. So, but that doesn't mean I can't have sugar.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I can totally eat sugar.
Yeah.
And that's not paleo.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think that after the whole bodybuilding phase, I did air quotes there. I do paleo, but I have flexibility within that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then in the sense of your wellness routine over the years, kind of like where you're at now, what's like the one tried and true product that you would use from Joanne's Place that you think anyone could really take?
Okay. So I really love organic spirulina. And it's a powder, and it comes in this pouch, right?
Yeah.
And so I still do shakes, but I do all food. I don't do powders. So I'll do egg whites and an avocado and a banana. I've been doing this for literally decades.
Literally just egg whites or egg white powder?
I do egg whites.
Egg whites, okay.
Yeah. So to each their own.
Yep.
I do egg whites.
Yep.
And then I put spirulina in it.
Okay.
And I really like the taste of it, to be honest with you.
Yep.
I love it with the avocado. And then the sweetness of the banana kind of brings it out. Like, it's really earthy.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know, I find it really satisfying.
Is it thick, or is it...
It depends on how much avocado you put in.
Okay.
Yeah. So I am a fan of a thicker shake. Some people are not fans of that. So if you don't, then put in like a quarter of an avocado.
Yep.
If avocado's your thing, you totally don't even have to put that in either.
Yeah.
And then if you like it, I usually do a half. Sometimes if I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to eat again, I'll put a whole in it. Yeah, if I have to travel or something like that, right?
Yeah. So you do this every morning?
Yeah, every morning.
That's awesome.
I love
and how long have you been on this routine for?
Like the shake routine?
Yeah.
Like, that's my breakfast. Probably 12 years.
12 years, yeah. With the spirulina.
Yeah.
Some people are so iffy on spirulina. They either love the taste of it or they hate it,
and
right?
Yes, yeah. And that's why I said, okay, it's kind of, well, to me, it's kind of earthy.
Yeah.
It tastes green, like whatever that means.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it does. It tastes green, tastes earthy. So if you like those sorts of things, you would like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the banana would sweeten it up a little bit too.
Yes,
So
for sure.
So strong. That's awesome. And then, so, last question I have for you, and then we can just do any other chit-chat that you want, though. But if you're stuck on a flight of 20 flights with someone in an elevator, what is, like, one really valuable piece of advice you would give to someone that would ignite them or inspire them to be dedicated to their wellness journey?
Okay, so wellness journey. So I think that a lot of people struggle with stress. And I feel that when you can honestly do as many shakes as you want, work out as much as you want, eat as many sweet potatoes as you want, right? But at the end of the day, if you're not listening to, I feel that everybody has this voice inside of them. Mine is right where my diaphragm is.
Yeah.
And it speaks to you. And if you need to pause and listen to it and understand what it's telling you, because it could be telling you all sorts of things. And that could be, my career needs a shift. Yeah. I don't like where I live. I don't know. I don't like the energy of the people that I'm surrounding myself right now. Well, what can I do about that? I really want to make it to the next level of whatever it is, right? Could be fitness, could be education, could be bonding time with your children, whatever it is. I think that the most important thing for overall wellness is listening to that voice inside of you, because I think that I'm going to generalize, but I feel that a lot of us can go on for years, days, months, years, decades without pausing to listen to that voice inside of us. And if we do, then we can make the first decision to follow what our actual passion is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of people talk about passion and lots of conversations about this, right?
Yeah.
Follow your passion, follow your passion. What does that mean?
Yeah.
But listening to that and understanding how you can apply that to your life, even in this very, very moment, you can do something small, right? And then the stress that will dissipate from you is astounding.
Yep.
And I can only speak to this because I've lived that. That I've made those choices, and I've also chosen not to listen to that voice. And I've understand what that ends up happening in the long run.
Yeah.
Right? It's like this bag of stuff that's spilling over, right? You're like, I really got to listen to this.
Yeah.
So that's my advice, is just to listen to that little person inside of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I think that listening to that takes quietness, like in your life, the people that you're surrounding yourself, your day-to-day tasks is just literally being in silence by yourself to actually listen to what that voice has to say, right?
Yes.
And that's another piece. A lot of people don't take that time to just be by themselves or be in silence. They're just constantly go, go, go.
Yeah.
Running children, going to the gym, meal, whatever that might be, right? So taking the time to actually listen to it.
And with every moment that you're not doing the running around, then people have their phones in their hands.
Yes.
And then that's more distraction.
Yep.
Right? So there's really no time to even take pause and think. And that's actually one thing that I try to do, is I think people probably think I look like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
But like, I'll be in a coffee shop, and if I'm reading a book or something, I'll put my book down and I just pause. Or if somebody's talking with me and they have to leave, I consciously do not pick the phone up.
Yeah.
Because it's just for me, it's mindless distraction.
Yeah.
And then that could be your opportunity to kind of look inward for a few minutes,
Yeah.
even if you have bustling activities around you.
Yeah.
Right?
We've talked so many times before, but it's one of my favorite things about Lisa, is like when you're actually having a conversation with somebody, you will not do something else while you're doing it. Even like while you're working, you will stop doing what you're doing and have a conversation. I absolutely love that about
thank you.
So
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. It's just naturally. And
Yeah.
it's like, I'm like, it's not even that you're not good at multitasking by any means, but I love that you don't force yourself to have to do that multitasking. And we live in a society where we have to multitask everything in our lives, right? So that's another piece too. That's awesome.
Thanks.
So tell us like where, Peterborough and the Kawarthas can find you, like how they get in touch with you, or like what's next for you? Like where do you see Evolv Your Body going, or what's next in your career path and so on?
Okay. So we work out of the Mount Community Center kitchen. So it's a lovely spot, and it's at 1545 Monaghan Road. And this place is amazing because a lot of different entrepreneurs will rent out time in this space, and it's a great facility. Mm-hmm. So that's where I work. Mm-hmm. And my website is evolvyourbody.com.
And we'll tag all this in the show notes so you guys can click through.
Yeah. And then you can just check it out on Facebook. You can look me up on Instagram. Yep. You can message me anyway. So, yeah.
So every week you put out a new menu.
Yes.
Is that released
Mondays?
Monday
morning.
Monday mornings. Mm-hmm. And then they can order by Friday. And you have your meals delivered to you on Sunday.
Yep.
Afternoon, evening.
We make them fresh Sunday morning, and they're delivered to you by 6:30 in the evening. The same day.
So awesome, right? And people can, like, if they're not home, they can leave it cooler and you can drop it off that way.
Yes, please.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. And they can pick up too, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then, so what's next for you? Like, do you know what's next? Or you just
I don't know. Well, I mean, I love what I'm doing with work. Yeah. And then I went back to school too, because, like, I love school and I love learning. Yeah. And I don't know what else is next. Yeah. Probably just a lot more food.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Lots of food. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And again, I'll link all the click-throughs that you can to contact Lisa. And thanks for coming today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in for today's episode with Lisa from Evolv Your Body. I hope she inspired you to understand that you do not have to be 100% perfect 100% of the time. For more information on how you can get your next week's meal prep delivered to your door on Sunday evenings, check out her on social media, Facebook, Instagram, or her website, and be sure to order by Friday nights. Please like, review, subscribe, comments, leave us any feedback that you want to, and we hope that you are inspired to live wellness on purpose now and for future generations.